did make me do Fireball yesterday. Thank you, Eliana. What a great walk-up song. All I do is win, win, win. How y'all feeling today? Woo! All right. Well, thank you so much for having me. I am standing up here today, and I am sharing something deeply personal with you, right? You just heard data. What the heck is this girl about to talk about? Before anyone starts, I'm not pregnant. All right. No. Yes. Past that stage. No, I'm not taking a sabbatical. I'm not going anywhere. But I've been going through, for the last 8 months, probably the most difficult thing I've ever done. I've hidden it. I haven't said anything to anyone. I've not posted on social media about it. My own grandma doesn't even know, so hopefully grandma doesn't see anything before we tell her. I have been going through the nastiest divorce ever. My husband and I realized, well, son of a gun, there we go. See, I've been lying to everyone. But my ex and I realized that it was done about a year ago, and right, we're told we need to be a badass and all the things, and you can't show that emotion and everything you're going through. And NADA, right after NADA, finally left the house, and I have the kids. I have a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old. I've been a single mom on one income, running a household, still working 70 hours a week because you have to do all the things, right? But what I've learned is that I had to start taking a look at relationships a little differently. And the biggest thing I've learned going through this process is that relationships rarely fail because of one catastrophic event. They fail because of hundreds of them. It is the miscommunication, the lack of follow-through. It's the lack of showing up all the time. It's the leaving the damn wet towel on the bed for the 400th time that I keep telling him to stop leaving it on there. It's the little things that just accumulate over time, and until eventually one day, they're the only thing that matters. Now, when women in automotive asked me to speak about data hygiene, which, guys, let's be honest, it is the most boring topic on the planet, unless you're a nerd like me, I started to process things and realize that data actually acts the exact same way as a relationship does. They don't fail because of one bad record. They don't fail because of one missed email, right? They fail because of the accumulation. Now, about a month or two ago, I was trying to wrap my brain around how in the hell do you make data hygiene resonate with a room full of badass women? And I was like, oh, you go through the exact same process as divorce as you do with your data. Now, psychologists will tell you that there are 5 stages to going through a divorce. You have denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and if you do the work, acceptance. So that's our time here for the next 35 minutes. We're going to go through these stages together. So let's start where everyone starts, denial. So denial is the first stage in a divorce, right? My ex and I were together for 18 years. Probably should have never gotten married, guys, ever. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. And it sounds like, right, in your marriage and everything else, everything's fine, we're fine, our data's fine, everything's great. You sit there at the dinner parties with everyone and you put on a fake smile and you just grit through it, because how dare you show hurt? How dare you actually admit that you have a problem? Wait, but before we go any further, I actually want to define data hygiene for you, because I feel like data hygiene gets thrown around a lot, but we all think we know what it means, but we don't. So data hygiene, very unglamorous thing to do here is define it, but it is the ongoing practice of keeping your information accurate, complete, consistent, and connected, so that no matter the human and no matter what system it is in, it's the same human being in all those systems. Now I gotta tell you, it's hard. You have customers in your DMS, the CRM, your service schedule, your marketing tool. That consumer lives in all of these disparate systems and none of them are talking to each other. They don't agree on the person's phone number or even their address half the time, right? Don't even know how to spell their name. And there's just dirty data absolutely everywhere in all of these different systems that aren't talking to each other. So let's define what dirty data actually looks like as well. So the duplicate records. So you've got 3 salespeople that put Brian's name in the system 3 different ways, right? You got BRIAN, BRYAN, my personal favorite, BRAIN. Hi, Brain just bought a Honda, good for Brain, right? Like what in the world is going on with that? You've got inconsistent entries. You've got one system saying like he bought a 2019 or a 2020. You have no idea which one it actually is. It's basically equivalent to forgetting your anniversary. You've got missing information everywhere. You have outdated records, the customer who moved or paid off the car or who knows, got a divorce. And trust me, because this happened to me this year, nobody wants a happy anniversary email from their dealership when they're fighting over who gets to keep the good couch, okay? Not having it. So you've got all of this dirty data everywhere, and here's why it is a just giant problem right now. Because every single person in this room is being sold AI. AI for your BDC, AI for your pricing tools, AI just all over the place, right? And if you feed it clean, connected data, it's magic. Saves us all so much. But you start feeding it the data that we just talked about, and all it does is produce garbage at machine speed that you absolutely trust. And you could paper over messy data previously and just out hustle it and make so many phone calls, but you absolutely cannot do that in this day and age with all the different AI. So stage 1 is 100% just believing you don't have a problem, it's fine, right? Which is the surest sign that you absolutely have a problem. So which inevitably brings us to stage 2. Because once you realize there's a problem, then you just get pissed. Now you're just mad. The denial cracks. You realize that your data, your marriage, everything is a disaster. And let me tell you, your first instinct is not to fix it. Your first instinct is to figure out whose fault is it. And I've done it in my personal life, my professional life, right? Because I don't want it to be me. Gosh, how dare I give that mirror back to myself? So if you're a dealership, you're probably very familiar with this, right? Well, data's mess. It's the system's fault. It's the GM's fault. It's the OEM's fault. It's the salesperson that left 8 months ago that was sitting there cackling at their desk, being a villain, like writing every single email in his none.none.com just to piss everybody off, right? If you're a vendor, you know this very intimately because you shipped a beautiful product. Dealer's super happy with everything, right? But what you did is you poured 10 years of bad data into a system that was just horrible, right? The dealer's all excited for the first couple weeks. Well, 6 months down the road, they're screenshotting a dashboard and saying, oh my goodness, look how horrible your product is. What they're not saying, oh my God, my data was a mess before we put it in there, right? So what happens, right? I want to talk about anger because it took me a long time to actually figure this out. And I want you guys to write this line down because it literally is what happens in every dealer-vendor relationship. I have watched teams pour themselves into trying to fix their data, and they absolutely, after everything, could not even tell me who their customers were. Their effort does nothing if you're not focused on the different things. Effort does not equal outcomes. Okay? So anger feels really, really good for a little bit. But anger never cleaned a record. Anger never saved marriages, right? You know, many women in this room have gone through what I've gone through. You just get mad, right? And when we realize that it doesn't matter how angry we are, that's the next stage. That's when we start to get creative. Welcome to bargaining. So bargaining is a grand gesture, right? It was the surprise trip my ex took me on to Puerto Vallarta, thinking like, oh my God, we're gonna save our marriage. It was the couples counseling and the retreat that we did. But guess what? Felt great for what, a week? Solved nothing after that little love bubble got popped. And you started doing the exact same thing over and over and over again, right? And in data, I bet so many of you have done this before. Guess what? It's the one-time data hygiene cleanup we're gonna do to our data. It's the thing you do with grand ceremony and the data's gonna be clean and we're so excited. But guess what? That wears off too, right? The processes drift, the duplicates come back, because what we didn't do is you did the thing with great ceremony and you were cleaning. Guess what you forgot to do? The maintenance. Right? Think about it. I was telling somebody this yesterday, talking about clean data. And your house. Do you clean your house once and you just stop cleaning it? You know how many frickin' dishes I would have? Do you guys know how much teenagers eat? Good God. It's not the cleaning. It's the actual maintenance that is important. The continuous effort. So, quick show of hands, actually. And I can see quite a lot of you. I've got great eyes. How many of you have actually done a one-time data hygiene cleanup? I see so many hands right now. Yeah, no, keep your hands up. How many of you actually still have problems with your data today? The hands, see? The duplicates came back. It's because you cleaned it, but you actually never maintained it. So, right, we've done all the things. We tried the one-time thing with great ceremony. Gosh, but we're right back where we started. And then you just don't know what to do. And that's when stage 4 hits. And stage 4 is the quiet one. That's the depression. This is the stage nobody wants to talk about, nobody posts about. This is the quiet one that just hits you like a ton of bricks and you're sitting there and you're trying to figure out what you're gonna do, or you're crying alone at night, eating Ben & Jerry's. You guys, I've eaten a lot of Ben & Jerry's over the past 8 months. These pants are tight. Ugh. Thank you, thank you. But in data, right, we have that depression too. You've just never defined it, but we've all been there. It's the meeting that, the reports don't match. It's two department heads showing up for the exec meeting and fighting over whose numbers are actually right, even though they pulled them from the same system, right? Nobody trusts the dashboards anymore. Nobody even knows what to do. So every decision gets relitigated by gut. Now, here's a number that should absolutely stop you. 73% of general managers admit that they rely on gut over their data. That's insane. True numbers. And I love a good gut, but here's what happens, and this is what dirty data does. It doesn't kill your instincts. It just makes them confidently wrong. And confidently wrong is the most expensive kind of wrong there is, because the decisions get harder, not easier, right? It's where the cruel twist of fate with the AI that we have right now, you're just actively making everything worse right now, because what you did is you poured dirty data into a foundation that couldn't hold it. It's like my best friend Bridget from Texas, all she ever does is just tell me to like key his car, girl, just do it. Like, no, you're just making the situation worse. Stop telling me these things. 3 to 5% of your gross revenue in your dealership goes completely out the door to bad data. It's not to the market. It's not to other spend everywhere else. It was because of lack of follow through, because you had no idea how you could even like reach that customer. It was the mistargeted spend. It was the duplicate records. You just never realized that it was walking right out the door because of cracks in your data. And think about that number. That is people's salaries. That is a year of marketing budget just quietly walked out the door. And here's what I've learned at my own version of this, right? Is that this is where you stop pretending, because you have quantifiable metrics to everything, and you have to finally say, okay, I need to do something about this. So then you start accepting. So acceptance in my personal life meant I had to finally like put on my big girl panties and say, okay, put the Ben and Jerry's away. I have to go be a badass, and I have to figure out how I'm going to fix the mess. And in data, the same thing happens. And the single most important thing that I've heard when you finally we are going to start to take action with your data, the single most important thing is you need an owner. Most organizations that I have worked with, and I've worked with hundreds, solving their data problems, they do not have a data problem. They actually have an ownership problem. And think about it, right? Everyone in your store uses data. Everyone in your organizations uses data. Salespeople use it. The marketing team uses it. F&I, everybody uses it. Who actually owns it? You guys ever thought about that? And here's the thing, when nobody owns the data, and this is true with customer records as it is in marriage, the thing that nobody owns is the thing that actually breaks down every single time. Processes erode. Trust just goes out the window. Lost that a long time ago. And I want to be clear, just because of nobody got up and was like, yay, this is what we're going to do. There's no villain, right, sitting somewhere. Nobody wanted this. It's just that nobody ever actually taught anybody that there's things that you have to do and be consistent for. which is why you can't fix it with a pep talk or a one-time cleanup. It's the boring, unglamorous work that you need to do in your relationships, that unglamorous maintenance with your data. And in my personal life, the maintenance was communication, accountability, consistency, showing up when I did not want to at all, right? And try to make it work forever. And with data, it's the exact same thing, but just with corporate clothes on, right? Governance, monitoring, process, ownership. Because healthy relationships require that maintenance. And you have to start building the habits in your dealerships, in your organizations, if you actually want to fix it. So let's talk about what the habit actually looks like, because I want you guys to walk away here today kind of starting to think about little tiny things that you can do to implement. And because honestly, acceptance without a plan is just nicer sounding denial. See, here's the thing. You don't have to be perfect. Everybody, every spa, every therapist, every time you go anywhere, right, there's choices. Good, better, and best, right? And here's the thing about our industry. Most people are constantly thinking that they need, that like, oh, better and best, let me do that. Again, hundreds of dealership groups and companies in this industry I have worked with on fixing their data, and everybody's actually not even picking good. They're just doing nothing at all because they're so frustrated. So what I want to do is talk to you guys, and let's make good feel possible today. So good. In a relationship, right, we're going to admit it. In your data, it's actually just looking. So run a duplication and reachability audit. Knowing is half the battle. Once you actually find that metric, like, oh my goodness, look at every single person that we are marketing to that we can't even reach. Like, what is happening? I've got the same person with the same address in there 8 different ways. Where's the golden record of truth? Find that number. And then the second thing, if you are a dealer, standardize how your data gets input into the system. Teach your people. We all know that there is a lot going on in the dealership all the time, right? But the single most important thing that you can do is actually tell people, hey, there's a right way to do something and a wrong way to do something. And it's gonna make all of our lives easier at the end of this. Standardize it, write it down, teach it, hold people accountable to it. If you are a vendor, make clean data part of the onboarding. That 10 years that you want them to go ahead and pour into your product, don't let them do that. Make them clean the data before they put it into your products. That way they're not coming to you 6 months down the road and being like, okay, guess what? You're fired. Look at these metrics. No, we're gonna teach it to them. Teach the cleanse before you sell the glow. And for the love of God, you guys, surface a data hygiene metrics in your tools. Like if the dealer can't do it and they're not sure, I mean, the data's all over the place, there's a lot going on, just put it in the tool. Hand your dealer that mirror and say, guess what, we're gonna work on this together, right? So that's it, good. Simple, tiny things that you can do in your dealership. Let's talk about better. And this is where, right, now you've identified it. Now we're gonna actually start doing things about it. So remember acceptance, if you're a dealer, assign an owner. Somebody should own that data and be responsible for those data hygiene metrics, because no routine is going to survive unless somebody actually owns it. It's like putting things on the back burner all the time, right? Like you're like, oh yeah, I'll get to that when I can get it. Let's parking lot that. Okay, it's never going to happen. Assign an owner, make someone accountable for it. And rebuild one thing. Everyone, remember, they're choosing nothing because they're so frustrated and it's too big of a task and oh my God, we gotta rip everything down. No, don't need to rip everything out. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Cheryl's thing yesterday, bye Beatrix, like, girl, be gone, okay? Just rebuild one simple thing, and then another one, and then another one. 1% better every single day, right? If you are a vendor, publish your integrations. Show them how that data flows in and out and across and everything. Print those damn ingredients on there for them so that your dealers understand when they're inputting something over here, it's going to show up over here, and Brain and Brian, like, what in the hell, right? Show them. Stop keeping it hidden. Build standardization into your products. I'll tell you what. We have a chief product officer. His name is Chad. Look him up and tell him I talked about him on stage. He's gonna be so pissed, but he literally rebuilt our entire CRM. If I even try to input the same name or same email or anything like that, there are smoke signals coming out of my computer. There are flags everywhere. Like, I can't hit enter, save. Like, he knows. I don't know how he did that. But he did that so that there's nobody in our company. We have the cleanest data, let me tell you. Because he built it into it. Can't do it. So best, right? We talked about, we're going to identify everything. Now we're actually going to start making things actionable, tiny little things. But best is where the game changes. Right? This is where your data is clean, owned, connected, and maintained continuously. This is where things start to be partnerships with individuals and people and companies instead of just transactional. So let's talk about, if you're a dealer in here, set up monitoring that just runs in the background, right? Think about it. We've all been to school. Why were the classrooms always so freaking clean? Like, I never saw anybody cleaning them. There's always a janitor. I don't even remember if I ever saw a janitor, right? But he was always there, and everything was always clean. Thank you, janitors of the world. Let it just run in the background. Automate it, right? Set up the deduplication, set up the validation, set up everything that it just runs. And put data quality in that general manager meeting. Right next to your CSI and gross profit and everything else. Because guess what? We just talked 3 to 5% is walking right out the door. That is a big number when you start looking at your P&L and line items, right? So it belongs in the same exact meeting as everything else that you need to accurately watch and maintain. And for the love of God, point your AI back at your data. I have not seen too many dealership groups do this yet. Some are starting to kind of figure it out, right? When you're talking about dirty data. But everybody's so excited about AI right now. But they're going to use it for marketing and they're going to use it for other tools and everything. Nobody's actually pointing it back at their own data. So you got to constantly have that loop going, right? Now, if you're a vendor, build the maintenance into the product, right? Partner with a company. There's so many out there that can build this for you. Partner with a company that, okay, you don't want to worry about it, we'll do it for you. We're going to constantly be monitoring your data and flag the duplicates for you and see if the person still owns the vehicle, right? You can do a lot of that right now. Prevent the relapse before it even happens. And co-own the outcome. So often in this industry, when I have been talking with dealers and vendors, right, it's always an us versus them. Some dealership, Liza, I'm looking at you, they do a great job actually partnering with people so that she can be just the badass that she is, right? And doing all the things for the group. But that's not true for a lot of dealership groups out there. Pick partners and vendors, be a better partner to your dealers, because when you start to co-own things together, that is when the game changes. Now, we found it, we found the data, we found the things that are going on. Now we're gonna fix it, then we get preventative, right? And that's where the AI and the era will be one. That is where our industry is moving towards going forward. And notice it's the exact same arc as healing. Acknowledge, act, and maintain. Now I want to tell you something, right? Because we've gone through the 5 stages, but that's not where this shit ends, guys. There is a 6th stage that nobody warns you about. And it's the best one. It's when you start to find yourself again, start to build that confidence. It's where, holy shit, I am on the main stage at Women in Automotive. You stop focusing on what you lost. It was 18 years right down the drain, and holy shit, look what I gained. I am me standing in my own shoes, and I'm so damn proud. Okay. Oh, hang on though, because guys, there's days that I am a badass, but there's also days I don't even remember if I freaking washed my hair. Like, like what is happening? Growth, turns out, isn't linear. The goal was never perfect. It was progress. And it's the exact same thing with your data. Goal isn't ever to be perfect. Data's never going to be perfect, right? But the goal is actually also not clean data. Everybody's like, hey, our data's so clean. Son of a gun. That's not the goal. The goal is what that clean data gives us. Better reporting, better forecasting, better ways to make decisions. That's the glow up. That's what clean data does for you. So clean data isn't the finish line. It's the foundation that you build your future on. Start laying the foundation. So let me bring us back to where we started. We've walked all 5 stages, and it's not the data, right? It's the relationship that you're going to have with that data. Because data's not a static thing. It's a living thing that you actually have to maintain and take care of. We're not just gonna clean it once and file it away. No, you get out whatever you put into it. So relationships, just like data, will fail depending on if you actively and intentionally maintain them. So I'm going to leave you with one question today, and I want you to think about it as the conference wraps up tomorrow. What relationships have you guys been just cleaning, filing it away, not paying attention to it, when you actually should have been maintaining them and intentionally maintaining them? Thank you.
That was very brave. Michelle Phelps, everyone, from Authenticom.
Thank you.